Pike County Fiscal Court will be called to order, please. Madam Clerk, have a roll call of the members.
Judge Rutherford.
Present.
Magistrate Anderson.
Present.
Magistrate Johnson. Magistrate Murphy.
Here.
Magistrate Robinson. Magistrate Dotson.
Here.
Magistrate Harris.
Here.
We have a quorum. We'll now have Pledge of Allegiance led by Magistrate Murphy, a veteran. You have in your packet the minutes of November the 19th meeting. Jeannie and I have reviewed it, found it to be correct. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
I have a motion from Magistrate Robinson, second from Magistrate Murphy. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson. Magistrate Murphy.
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson. Magistrate Dotson.
Yes.
Magistrate Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
We have with us this morning Marlo Tackett. We all know for 34 years what Marlo has done for those people who are less fortunate in Pike County. I've been blessed to be at 34 of the 35, and took part in all but one more, Marlo, and I had a bronchitis once and couldn't talk, and I didn't help on the stage. But and a lot of people that's sitting at this with the court up here have been active helping Marlo in past years, and people in the courtroom have been active in helping him. And this year, Marlo was needed more than any other year because the coal miners are out of work. We got more coal miners out of work in Pike County than any county in eastern Kentucky, and they're needed. Once their unemployment runs out, if they've not left here, then they don't have any income. No income to buy food, to pay their lot bill, to pay anything. They just don't have any income. It is sad that we end up in this. The EPA have just put us out of business, and this court knows as well as anybody we're down $5.4 million in severance tax. So we're all tightening our belt, but as Judge Hayes in his prayer said, this is a year of giving. And we have with us Marlo to advertise on December 22nd at the Virgie Gym. But Marlo, while you are here today, we decided to honor you and as Humanitarian of the Century in Pike County. And I looked that up, and a humanitarian is a person devoted to promoting the welfare of humanity. And you well fit in that category. I would like for you to go back to the front of since you got it on the monitor, and start where Marlo has made a difference. As I look at the monitor, he has made a difference in not only during Christmas time, but he came out with a song that he wrote in regard to when they had the shooting in Colorado, and was apropos at that time, and that song went around the country. But he brought Christmas cheer for 34 years to people, and going to bring Christmas cheer this year. The Pike County Board of Education has made available to him, I'm talking about the school board itself and the superintendent, and Nancy Casey and the staff up there have made available to him the Virgie Gymnasium to have his Christmas program in this year. Marlo was one of 15 children, if I remember correctly, 17 in the family with his mother and dad. His dad was a coal miner, and I remember Marlo talking about he'd leave home before daylight, get back after dark, and they made $2 a day. Plus, they walked to work. Floyd Causey over in Greasy Creek, a friend of mine that passed away a number of years ago, said he walked from Greasy Creek to the mine up Shelby Creek to work, and he would meet Marlo's dad on top of the ridge and walk with him on to work. So Marlo Tackett had a big family, but Marlo Tackett was born gifted. A fellow named Rio Johns was his teacher. Rio Johns entered Marlo Tackett, seen that he had a guitar, and put him in a contest, 4-H contest in the big city of Pikeville, Kentucky. Brought Marlowe from the top of the mountain. Marlowe said many times in many songs he's written that I was raised close to the Lord, closer than probably anybody else, because I was on top of a mountain. He was raised in the Flatwoods. His daddy never drove a car. In the 60s, I was probation and parole officer in this building. His dad became a friend of mine before I even met Marlowe Tackett. His dad didn't drive, and he'd come to my office and say, are you going up to Dorton Way today? And if I wasn't going, I made arrangements to take him. Marlowe, I'd take your dad up top of that mountain to Walker Rose's store, and I let him out many times at Walker's store, go in and get me a pop off of Mr. Rose, talk to him about the day you all was raised on around the hill. He had to walk out that road. I don't know how far it was, maybe a half a mile, or how far it was. You went from Walker on top of the hill. But when Rio Johns brought you to Pikeville and with a guitar, with a song in your heart, everybody realized that you was special, and that you was gifted, and you developed if you go back on the screen to the Christmas for the Needy and other things. We're also going to talk to you, Marlowe, about your entertainment that you've done in the years that Lord has blessed you to be. But we want to finish talking about your Christmas cheer you brought to people and how you was raised. And I remember that you like everybody else, when you got older, you had to leave to find a job. I ended up in Louisville, Kentucky, and in Columbus, Ohio, but Marlowe Tackett ended up in Indiana, if I remember. I remember Bobby Caldwell telling me one time that it was about 85 degrees, and they had you all digging a ditch. Everybody was wet with sweat. And Marlowe said he told them all they're working digging that ditch in Indiana. Fellas, I can play a guitar and I can sing. And I'm gonna follow the gift the Lord gave me. Marlowe Tackett left that job of digging a ditch that day, what they'd assigned him to, wet with sweat, and started playing music and entertaining people. That led to Marlowe, of course, like everybody else myself, I left and came back. I can remember Judge Hayes of Congressman Rogers saying to me one time, he said, Judge, where'd you go to? I said, Louisville and Columbus. He said, I went to Cincinnati first, and then I went on to Detroit. But I came back, and now I'm congressman, and you came back, now you're a judge. But we all had to leave, just like people are doing today. We hate to see it, it's sad. We hate to see people having to move. We have, I understand, more than a dozen that coal miners has moved to western Kentucky already. So they are moving out. But today is talking about Marlowe Tackett. He got back here and he was able to have a business at Dorton, where he was born, close by. Marlowe tried to get an entertainment permit, and he had trouble getting it, and he had trouble of there. And finally, he had to leave the place that he loved and where he was from, Dorton, and he went and he moved on to Elkhorn City. Stayed in Elkhorn City a while, and of course, he still didn't have an entertainment permit. He couldn't get one because nobody would issue one because they didn't know what an entertainment club was all about. Didn't last at Elkhorn. Marlowe had to move on. He went to Marbone. I came in office in 1970, and I told Marlowe Tackett, I said, Marlowe, you have a lot of talent. You have a good heart. I'm going to see that you get entertainment license, and you're going to have to find you a place to operate. And he found the Palace. I remember I called Mr. Kahn, I think it was Marlowe, that owned the building, and said, Marlowe needs to meet with you. And Marlowe's career blossomed on till he was given a contract for RCA Record. But he if you'll go up now to his entertainment part, Marlowe brought the leading stars of Nashville to the Palace over the years, and you'll see some of them on here as you look at the monitor today. But it was from Waylon Jennings to George Jones, and we could go on and on. Joe Diffie, just anyone you want to mention that was from Nashville, ended up in Pikeville, Kentucky at the Palace. Palace and Marlowe Tackett and the Southern Comfort Band. That's the picture up there now. That's one of his RCA pictures that was distributed throughout the United States. Mr. Shedd, who, when Marlowe ended up in Nashville, he was blessed to have one of the leading managers, Mr. Shedd, who had Alabama and who had the leading country music stars. Marlowe said one time he was somewhere between somebody and somebody else because he was between pop and country. But Marlowe Tackett was on the Grand Ole Opry, Porter Wagner show. You'll see many others as this comes up on the screen. And Nashville, and toured this country. A local coal operator bought him and Mr. Shedd bought a studio in Nashville. And Marlowe became, there's a picture of Waylon Jennings and Jesse Coulter where Marlowe was fronting for him, and he traveled around the country. As we all remember, he fronted for the leading stars in this country. But Marlowe, when he told the story many times about a child's pair of shoes that he didn't have, and talking to the mother, and going and taking that child and getting a pair of shoes. And he made his mind up at that time that there would never be a child in Pike County in the wintertime that had to go out with a pair of shoes. And he started, and I was there 35 years ago. Marlowe Tackett started his annual Christmas for the less fortunate family, the needy families of Pike County and eastern Kentucky. Look, Marlowe Tackett has played for more nonprofits than anybody in our history, for fire departments needing money, for crippled children, for people who had to go to the hospital and no money. He's done it all over eastern Kentucky. Alice Lloyd. Marlowe one time told me he was Alice Lloyd doing a free benefit for somebody. And one of the professors come out and said, Marlowe, I'm doing genealogy, and your fifth cousin, where you got your talent, is from Elvis Presley. Marlowe told me that, and we didn't know till several years later, till a local person doing genealogy here brought it to me and said, Judge, let me show you how Marlowe's fifth cousin, because his grandfather Smith came to Beefide in Pike County, Kentucky, and married Marlowe Tackett's great whatever grandmother and took her back to Tupelo, Mississippi. Imagine that his talent that is bred in you. Molly O'Day, the first woman to play at the Grand Ole Opry, Marlowe's cousin. She was a Fleming. Her mother was a Mullen. Alexander Pink Mullins was in the family. So he has carried on the tradition of his family. But we're talking today about what he's done as a humanitarian of helping people in need. He has taken money out of his pocket, and I've observed that, in paying people's electric bill that was about to get cut off. Marlowe Tackett has made a lot of money in the entertainment business. But I can tell you all this, it's gone in his pocket and out to help people that needed help. That included family and neighbors. He has helped continuously for people in need. It was bred into him. He drew people to him. he had a grapevine of people. We were so proud of Marlowe when he was on national television. And he was an ambassador for Pike County, always playing at inaugurations in Frankfurt. The Paul Patton inauguration, I can remember, played there for that, and was proud to tell people that he was from Pike County. But Marlowe, we were here today certainly to advertise your December 22nd, to tell everybody that they can come out, but we're here to honor Marlowe Tackett for what you've done for 34 years and what you're doing this year to help the needy in eastern Kentucky. I know that you've had some health problems. You set them aside so that you could. Everybody has helped every bit we could. Bobby Mullins, you know, you've helped Marlowe. Seen the jailer back here with work release. They've helped Marlowe. Everybody. I've been up there twice. Marlowe has that well organized. It's well organized. We have some problems that we worked out or are going to work out so that we can keep people safe up there. Marlowe, we have the ambulance coming. They'll be stationed there all day. We have the fire department of Shelby Creek, which is next to the school. They'll be there with fire trucks. And we have the sheriff's office. We'll have all the deputies that's needed. Virgie will be overrun because of this. This serves not only Pike County, but into Virginia, West Virginia, and into the counties. That's where Food City, who is one of the sponsors this year. The radio station has been assisting Marlowe in getting the word out this year because it is a time of people certainly in need. But the Mountain Santa Claus is sitting right here. When that song was written and sang for Marlowe Tackett, it was appropriate. He has been the Mountain Santa Claus for people who's in need. Marlowe, I remember, and I'm sure that the magistrates remember, when the family got burned up right above Miller's. The whole family got burned up at Christmas time. But folks, let me tell you something, and their Christmas gifts got burned up, but let me tell you where they got their Christmas gifts. This fellow right here, and he picked me up at Shelby. He took the Christmas gifts, Master Robinson, to that family up the creek up there, that all of them got burned up in that trailer and the gifts. But that's just an example. I can remember going Leo to the head of Big Hackney's Creek, and children was running everywhere. And a lady was washing on the back porch, and I went out in a Maytag wringer type machine. And she said, "Thank God, Judge, Marlowe Tackett got me this wash machine so I could keep my children's clothes clean." But what we're here today is, Marlowe, to present to you an award. Do you have it, John Doug? Jeannie, do you have what to be presented to him? Marlowe, we have something to present to you. We would like for you to talk into that microphone, and then if you have your guitar with you, we'd like for you to sing us a song today.
Well, thank you very much, Judge.
No.
I thank all you, the court. Thank you all so very much. I want you all know.
Pull the microphone over to him.
I want you to know, first of all, I appreciate everything y'all have done. Without y'all, I couldn't do it. Without God, I couldn't do anything anyway. It took a long time to realize that. But I know I'll never be able to repay back the help that I've received in Pike County too. I've had a lot of folks come and help me, and I do. And I certainly want to say thanks to David Lester and to all the board of Pike County Schools, and what a great help they have been to me. And I don't want to take much time, but I got stories I could tell you. I wanted to come back to Pike County, do my program. I could never find a place that was big enough because it started growing so big, and I couldn't find a place that was be suitable. And one day, coming down the road, I was trying to find a place. I've been in Hazard, and I've been in Heineman, I've been in Prestonsburg, over at Martin. been all through Letcher County. I had a place up there, but I couldn't use it because somebody broke in and vandalized the place and took the wiring and such. So then I came down and I just riding in the car, and I told the Lord, I said, you find me a place and help me, excuse me, with supplies, and I will stay there as long as you let me until the last gift is gone, and I promise you that I'll only have one family or one coal miner go without Christmas. And I came down to see my nephew, Johnny Tackey, down at the board, and talked to him, and I happened to remember Nancy Casey. I asked him, is my friend Nancy here? And he said, well, his office is back there. He probably is. And I went back and told Nancy, and he said, I'll help you, Marlo, any way I can. He said, you know, I will. I always have. And his whole family's been that way. And he said, I asked him about the old gym. I heard it was empty, and he said, it'd be a great place. Y'all have to excuse me. I've had a cold too. So, but anyway, Nancy told me that he would talk to Mr. Lester, and I ever knew of. I hadn't ever met Mr. Lester. But Nancy said that he would get a word and call me back. In a few days, I got a call, but it wasn't Nancy. It was Mr. Lester himself. And he said, Marlo, he said, I've known you for a long time. I've known all the wonderful things you've done to help our county, all you could, and all the families you took care of. He said, you have that gym as long as you want it. You take it and use it. And I'd be honored, and I haven't seen him. He hasn't come around me. He just sent me keys and said, by the way, I know you'll need things. There's tables and chairs in Robinson Creek and Long Fork, and they gave me the keys. So I ended up with the keys to 3 schools. And so that's how we got to where we are at this point in time. And the supplies were already coming in before I even advertised. But anyway, there's so many people I could thank today, and I just want to say thanks to everybody. And that way I won't leave anybody out, because everybody knows what they've done and what part they play. And my family, a lot of them has gone on home now, and a lot of them I got very much sickness in my family, and I have problems myself, but I'm still working, and I told the Lord to stay there, so I am, and that's what I'm doing. I'm going to continue. And Judge, I thank you for this great opportunity to come, and I'm really honored. But you know, I'm really blessed to sometimes look back and forget all those wonderful things that you've shown, and you have the opportunity to go on and do other things, but sometimes we all forget, you know, where we came from. And I'm glad, and thank you for bringing it back. And thank you all for all the wonderful things you have given me. And there's so many things I wanted to tell you all today, but biggest thing I want to say is that every one of you are welcome. You're welcome to come. Most of you people, there's a lot of them. I could probably count the ones in this building that's been to my program in 35 years. It never cost anybody anything to get in. I never asked anybody for anything. But, you know, people kind of go different ways, and I understand that. And I'm worried this time because I have a big program coming up, and I expect it to be the biggest one in 35 years. And I still have problems getting help to come. And I've had that problem for several years. And I want to say thanks to Rodney Scott for helping me and send me people from down at the court to help me. He sent me women and men, and they have helped me unload, and it was countless over the years. Can you imagine how many tractor trailer loads of supplies we have unloaded by hand without a tow buggy, without a lift? Y'all could never even begin to count the tractor trailer loads of supplies that's been sent to me. And this time I was really worried about it, but the Lord has always managed to take care of me even before I was recognizing Him. And I regret that. I'm sorry that I didn't do it, but He's always took care of me, and I know He always will. And my family knows all about these things. But you know, the thing I wanted to do was to come back to Pike County and do my program. And I had that in my heart, and I had it on my mind real strong. So I prayed about it, and I talked to the Lord about it, and I just kept wishing, and I stayed And I know things is not good here because I got a lot more friends, a lot more people than people think I do. And I know what's going on, and I know a lot of things I wish I didn't have to deal with, but I want to deal with it because I want to help everybody that I can, and I need your all's help and guidance. And I also want to say that there's so many people that's joined in to help me in the last little while that's come in or called me on the phone. And I want to mention a friend that's guided me a lot and helped me so much. And Keith Caseboat has turned me over his radio station, and he's helped me so much. And I appreciate that. And I don't get a chance to tell these people all that because it's Christmas time. People want to spend the time with their families, and that's great. I want to say thanks to Walter May. And I will never forget Walter. And Judge, I'm glad you brought that up. It reminded me of a little story. And if I've got time, I want to tell it, of Walter May, who one time was having a campaign rally in Lexington, Kentucky. More than a rally, it was a lieutenant governor's race. And he called me up one night. My business was big. My place was filled with people. And he said, Marlo, I want you to do a favor for me. And I said, what is it, Walter? We've been friends ever since the first time I ever met him in my life. And he said, excuse me. He said, I want you to go to Lexington and play a show for me. Walter doesn't even know all this. I said, Walter, I'll be more than glad. He said, now it's going to be on Saturday night. And I said, well, Walter, you got to give me a little time to get me a group to come in and cover for me while I'm gone so I can still operate my business. And he said, no, I want you to close the business down because I want your people to go with me, come down there. And so I did exactly what he asked me to. I went down there and played for the shows. But the big thing that he did was, when he got down there, he didn't tell me, but Ralph Emery from TV shows and radio shows, he was the MC of the show. We started about 2 o'clock in the day, and we played till 2 o'clock in the morning on Sunday morning. I played 30 minutes every hour, played 6 hours that day. And I thought, well, what on earth am I getting out of this? I had about 75 cars go down the Parkway with me. I had a great time. Soon after that, Ralph Emery invited me to his morning radio show in Nashville, Tennessee, and that was to cover the different parts, most of Tennessee. I got to go on that show at breakfast time in the morning and sing. He introduced me. Then he took me to Pop Goes the Country, a national show. It's been showed 7 times nationwide now. Not only did he do me that way, he got me hooked up with Porter Wagner. I went on to Porter Wagner's show and I filmed that, and it's done the same thing. It still plays occasionally on TV. Well, that's pretty good. So through that, I'm through Porter Wagner and Ralph Emery. I got to go. RCA Records was the biggest record company there was at that time. So they took me there, and I stayed with them I had a contract, and after my contract was up, I wasn't pleased. There was something missing. A lot of things were missing, and I went to them and told them, and I still got a great relationship with them. I wanted to come back home. I had my business and my family and my friends, and I wouldn't feel like I didn't belong on the road all the time. I had things to do. So I came back. Before I came back, RCA has the Grand Ole Opry show. Jerry Reed was there, Charlie Pride, Alabama, Sylvia, and Steve Warren from Bowling Green. And they brought me out on the Grand Ole Opry, and I did my 2 songs that was very good to me. And so the point I wanted to get across, I give all the credit to Walter May, who took the time to guide me and help me. And thank you,
Marlo,
Judge.
we want you to rest. I know you got a cold, and if you feel like it, we want you to sing a song, but I want Judge Hayes to read. I'll give you a moment to rest just a minute where you got a cold, and let him read the proclamation that was before the court.
I know this is I thank you, Judge. But I know I want to give you all a little gift, every one of you. I want to show you how the Lord has blessed me in so many ways. We can't even count them. And I just wish I'd have did it years ago. I thought I did all these things back then and get out and help people and the flooded victims we took care of. And Wayne would call me and go with me, and with more trips. How many nights we stayed out when the big snow was here. And I just couldn't imagine how the things we did.
Now, Doug, before you read that, in 1977, the flood, they called the lady, the administrator of the local nursing home, called and said, water is going to get us. We got to get our people out of here. Marlowe Tackett and his crew went and moved those people out, along with the Pikeville Fire Department. But Judge Hay, if you'll read the proclamation, please.
Resolution of the Pike County Fiscal Court recognizing Marlowe Tackett as Humanitarian of the Century. Whereas Marlowe Tackett was born on February 28, 1948 in Dorton, Kentucky, and whereas Marlowe Tackett has had a 40-plus year career in country music, and whereas Marlowe Tackett has enjoyed an extensive career as an entertainer and recording artist, including making 3 appearances at the legendary Grand Ole Opry in Nashville, Tennessee, and whereas Marlowe Tackett has spread holiday cheer throughout eastern Kentucky with his Christmas party for needy families held each December for the past 35 years, and for his previous Christmas tours of nursing homes and hospitals in Pike County and regionally, and whereas Marlowe Tackett has made helping others his life's work and has personally been responsible for making it possible over the decades for thousands of families and children to enjoy a Christmas full of love and warmth, and whereas Marlowe Tackett embodies the great hearts and caring attitudes of the people of his native Pike County, and whereas Marlowe Tackett, who has truly earned the title of the Mountain Santa Claus, deserves recognition for his good works, charitable endeavors, and giving spirit, now therefore be it resolved by the Pike County Fiscal Court to name native son Marlowe Tackett as Pike County's Humanitarian of the Century. That has been signed by County Judge Executive Wayne T. Rutherford, District 1 Magistrate Jeff Anderson, District 2 Magistrate Vernon Chick Johnson, District 3 Magistrate Leo Murphy, District 4 Magistrate Kenneth Robinson, District 5 Magistrate Hillman Dotson, and District 6 Magistrate Christian Harris, as well as Pike County Attorney Howard Keith Hall.
Marlo, I know you got a cold, but if you feel like it, you can strum us a song. If not, we will go on with the
I
presentation.
just want to my daughter's here, and Wendy couldn't come. She's under the weather too in Tennessee. But Marley, would you come and do one verse of a song for me? I'd let you do it. Would you please? Just come. We'll do Banks of the River or something, okay? This is my daughter, Marley Page. She was born here in Pikeville. And come here and just stand, baby. Just stand right there if you want to and just sing to them. Sing Banks of the River if you don't mind. Sure. For me.
In a room filled with darkness, my mother lay, and her hair that once was brown now is gray, and I can hear her tender voice softly say, "Child, I'll see you in heaven one sweet day. Bury me on the banks of the river, where heavenly tears of joy they flow. Don't shed a tear for me as I'm leaving, for this is where I wanted to go."
Thank you. Thank you.
Marlo, I'm going to come around and present you with the humanitarian of the century, and I'll I'd ask the magistrate to come around with the picture. You all come on around.
Gotta do a motion for his resolution.
We have a motion by Magistrate Johnson. Do we have a second on the resolution, please? Magistrate, second by Magistrate Murphy. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson,
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson, Magistrate Murphy,
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson, Magistrate Dodson, Magistrate Harris,
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes. Have an amendment on a lease, and it's the only amendment, there's no money involved. Judge Hayes, would you explain? Let me say that Charles Carlton and Bobby Brennan is in Columbus, Ohio, a meeting with a prospect to bring jobs to Pike County. It was scheduled for another date, and I was to go, but due to it fell on the court date, they had to bring people from California, from Colorado, from Florida, from Ohio, and from here. So when they set it for today, when they get everybody together, they had to go. So they're not here. So Bobby Branham handles it, but Judge Hayes is going to tell you what it is.
Judge, this is a lease modification of an existing lease that Pike County Fiscal Court has with the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and that's for the Cabinet for Health and Family Services in the building over in Phelps. That's the one immediately behind Magistrate Dodson, the Phelps Courthouse, and they do an invaluable service for the people of Pike County in the Phelps Peter Creek area there. But this is a revenue neutral lease modification. It involves the expenditures of leasehold improvements by the Pike Fiscal Court of $6,800 per an estimate submitted by a contractor, and we have a copy of that estimate. But the reason it does not cost the fiscal court anything, and I said it's revenue neutral, that's because this $6,800 will be amortized from the date this is signed through the expiration of the lease, which is on June the 30th, 2014. So the long and the short of it is, Judge, the $6,800 it will cost to make the improvements to that building, and these are improvements requested by the Commonwealth of Kentucky for security purposes, and those payments will be paid back to the fiscal court by the end of the lease. And so that's it, Judge.
Motion by Mr. Dodson, have a second. Second, Mr. Anderson, have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson? Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes. Pull up on the screen the Hawkeye Contracting. We have the engineering available. This is a payment requested. How much is that invoice? Jeannie, it's not on here. How much is the invoice of 27206? It is 174,396. 296.54. And now you have your picture. Hatcher is Hatch here. Jeannie, we need the road commissioner here. Hatch, would you get him and so that he can approve this, so it won't take up much time? The engineer is here. The picture tells the story of what work has been done as they continue phase one on this project. You can go right ahead and give your recommendation. Hatch, if they've submitted a bill for a payment, and of course we got up on the monitor the area they've been working in. So the only thing I think we needed for you to prove that the Summit Engineering has already submitted it and recommends it and then gave us the picture.
Yes.
Good shape. Do I have any questions? Motion?
Yeah, I make a motion, but I wanted to say first, last Thursday, I met up there on the road with Summit Engineering. Jack was there. And you know, phase one's over with, and they're going to have to, in certain places, have to go down 40 foot farther in phase two. And we've been talking about, you know, opening it up.
Yeah, we've got that coming up after this.
But
it's
really
on-
and truly, it's
It's on
too
a change
dangerous of
order
a
coming up
situation to
next.
even try to open it up now. Plus, it'd cost a whole lot of money for rock and gravel, which would have to be torn back out. That'd be a waste of money, but it just too dangerous a situation to try to open up right now, you know, till phase two is started.
Motion from Magistrate Murphy to pay the bill. Have a second. Have a second, Magistrate Robinson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson?
Next is approval of a change order. Briefly tell us what the change order
Yes.
is. I think it is a picture on here that shows a slide. Am I correct?
Yes, there should be a picture of
This
the
is a
slide.
picture. You can see a huge slide on the picture, on the monitor. So that is a change order. The only question that I have, and this court will have, is your change order within the money that you have available for this project?
Yes, yes. We still have, in contingency, we have $115,000 remaining, and that's more than enough to cover this change order.
But the money is available to move this slide?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Now, also, I understand that this is also, you have for an extension of the contract. That's in this? To what, March the 1st?
This will extend the contract through January 26th, and we're going to take the next month to try to decide how to most
Which
effectively
would make it
spend.
the end of February, the end of February, 1st of March. That'd be the second.
This one's through January. We can, yeah, we intend to come back later and add some time.
That's what I'm trying to explain.
Yes.
This one takes you to the 26th, but you are coming back and requesting this court later for an extension to the end of the following month. Am I correct?
Yes, that's the plan.
Okay, we have had 2 meetings. I suggested that they go to take Magistrate Murphy up to the site. We had a commitment from Summit that they would be a through road through there in phase 1, not where we was required to build the second phase, but that wouldn't be a dead-end road. So we're still in discussions on that.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy alluded to that we don't want we want phase 1 ended so that we could get through there. Now, there's some question whether or not the Corps would let us do that. But that's up to the Corps. We got a commitment that we would be able to drive that road, not on a state-approved road or a federal-approved road, but they would be a road through there. So there are gonna be a road through there because Jack Sykes has committed to me that they would be. Now, whether or not it has a good solid bottom on it with rock and gravel, that's something else. But we'll cross that bridge, Magistrate Murphy, when we come to it. This is only for an extension of the contract up until the 26th of this month,
Of January,
of January, of next month.
correct.
Okay, you have any more questions?
No, not right yet, but,
We're gonna continue to discuss this with our engineer.
yeah, right at this time, you know, there's a whole lot more work done, and like I said, there's good area up there, it's still gotta go down 40 feet. and
We
everything like
attempted
that.
to get a hold of Representative Hall the day that we had the meeting, but we was unable to get a hold of him to find out about Phase 2 funding. But we wasn't able to get a hold of him. But Jeannie, we need to continue to text him and tell him to call us because we need to know about Phase 2 funding because the legislature starts in a few weeks. And that's when we're supposed to get Phase 2 funding on this project. You have a motion from Magistrate Murphy, and do I have a second from Magistrate Robinson? Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson,
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy,
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson, Magistrate Dodson,
Yes.
Magistrate Harris,
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes. Do you have any questions?
No, sir. Thanks.
Okay, thank you for coming today. Next, we have we have two appointments coming up. The Fiscal Court does, and I recommend the Fiscal Court approves. And the two members on the Pike County Cooperative Extension District Board. That is Rosalind Stanley, and I recommend she's presently a member. She attends. I attend those meetings every time I can, and I've got about a 90% attendance rate because it's an important board that I'm on. And then the other one, and we don't have the picture of Barbara Miller, is Barbara Miller, who's on the board. Magistrate Harris, that is, let's see, lives on Brushy Creek, Dr. Webb's sister. Billy Webb had just died recently, his daughter. And of course, she's married to Mr. Stanley, married to Mr. Miller, Barbara Miller. So I make those recommendations of Rosalind Stanley and Barbara Miller, who are presently members of the Extension Board. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Magistrate Dodson. Have a second, Magistrate Robinson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy.
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson. Magistrate Dodson.
Now,
Yes.
we put Carol Napier's
Yes.
picture up here on the monitor and wondered why, because
Yes.
she's not here today, but she's been involved. She was involved in a car accident that totaled her car. And she received injuries, and she came back to work yesterday, but she had a knee replacement. She's having major problems with both of her knees and was unable to come today. She is on the Pike County Health Board. She represents this court along with I. We attend every one of those meetings that we can get to, and we try to look out for the interest of this court and the people of Pike County. And I recommend Carol Napier be reappointed. She has to be reappointed each year as a member of the Pike County Board of Health representing the Pike County government. Do I have a motion? I have a motion by Magistrate Johnson, second by Magistrate Robinson. I have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy.
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson. Magistrate Dodson.
Yes.
Magistrate Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes. I move for the adoption of a resolution in support of the Attorney General's appeal to the Franklin Circuit Court and regarding Kentucky Public Service Commission's decision of approving the closure of the Big Sandy power plant. Judge Hayes, you have a copy of that resolution, and I would ask that you do that, and then I'll ask for a second and move for a vote.
Judge, this is a resolution of the Pike County Fiscal Court in support of the Kentucky Attorney General's decision to appeal the decision of the Kentucky Public Service Commission regarding the Big Sandy Power Plant. Whereas the Pike County Fiscal Court supports fully the action of Kentucky Attorney General Jack Conway to appeal the October 7, 2013 decision of the Kentucky Public Service Commission allowing Kentucky Power Company to purchase a 50% interest in a West Virginia coal plant instead of retrofitting the Big Sandy facility in Lawrence County, Kentucky. And whereas Attorney General Conway's appeal to the Franklin Circuit Court seeks to vacate and set aside the Commission's findings on multiple legal grounds, and whereas the Pike County Fiscal Court concurs with Attorney General's opinion that the findings of the Public Service Commission were unreasonable and unlawful because they relied on evidence presented by Kentucky Power and its corporate parent company that could not be verified, and whereas the Pike County Fiscal Court agrees with the Office of Attorney General that the analysis used by Kentucky Power and accepted without independent verification by the Public Service Commission is not a reliable basis for the Commission's decision, and that the PSC should seek additional independent information before raising electric rates for consumers and eliminating Kentucky jobs. And whereas the PSC's decision would mean the loss of 115 coal jobs and trucking jobs, as well as scores of service industry jobs in Pike County alone. And whereas the ruling by the PSC places more than $500 million into Kentucky Power's rate base and will ultimately raise consumers' electric rates by more than 20%, as well as transferring energy production to a neighboring state and leaving eastern Kentucky consumers paying the bill. And now, therefore, be it resolved by the Pike County Fiscal Court that this body is in full support of the Kentucky Attorney General's appeal of the Kentucky Public Service Commission's decision, which would have a devastating economic impact on our county and region.
Do I have a second? Have a second, about 3 different ones seconded, Madam Clerk. I think everybody seconded. But we have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson? Yes. Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes. Madam Clerk, would you make sure that gets to the Attorney General as soon as today if possible? Adoption of a contract Kentucky electrical inspectors required by statute. Mr. County Attorney.
Yes, Judge, I had Rose include in the package our ordinance regulating the issuance of certificates of electrical inspection, which was adopted by this court back on November 3rd, 2003. This in no way changes our ordinance. It in no way changes existing Kentucky revised statutes. This is merely a matter that the cabinet is starting to enforce or requiring that we either have an electrical inspector as an employee or that they have a contract with the fiscal court. I assume that this court would want to just do the contract. They were very nice. They did send a sample contract which they wanted adopted by the court, so this is merely adopting the contract which was suggested, and all I did was fill in the name of Pike County. And again, I would emphasize this doesn't change existing statute and doesn't change anything except we will have a contract with our electrical inspectors. I think we currently have 4, and Jimmy will need to get hold. How many? 4. We currently have 4, and those contractors will need to come in and sign this contract and also an affidavit. So I would recommend to the court that this suggested inspector contract be adopted.
We have a copy of the affidavit.
Pardon?
Is the affidavit
I do
included?
have an affidavit.
And what does the affidavit say?
The affidavit says, "Come the affiant blank, and after being duly sworn states as follows: I am employed by the Pike County Fiscal Court as an electrical inspector. As an electrical inspector, I agree to perform the duties and obligation necessary for the enforcement of the provisions of KRS Chapters 227 and 227A and all applicable regulations promulgated thereunder regarding the installation and operation of electrical wiring, appliances, apparatus, devices, and the verification of electrical licenses. I further agree to maintain a complete record of all inspections as required by KRS 227.491 and submit all inspection reports as required by KRS 132.815. It basically just is an affidavit agreeing that they will enforce the contract which they're signing.
Okay, one of our electrical inspectors is here, Jerry Deskins. Jerry, do you have anything that you'd like to add?
If you
If you
have
would step
anything
up
to
to the
say, come
podium
around
up
to the
here.
podium and to the microphone. We're on Pike TV, please.
Yes, as Chris said, my name's Jerry Deskins. I've been inspecting here in Pike County now for about 13 years. If we don't have this in place by January the 1st, I'm not allowed to inspect, or any inspectors are not allowed to do any inspections in the county until we have this, till we have a signed contract. But now this is not just a signed contract, this is also, starting January the 1st, is the issuing of permits. So we have to determine from the state or from the county.
We're familiar with this because we have to do it all the time. We're just complying with the Kentucky statute. And it does not change our ordinance, but it does just exactly what you've explained. So that's,
But that's what I'm saying, is who's going,
we're going to comply. The county attorney has recommended it, and Mr. Harris has brought you up, and we're glad he did. But we're going to do exactly what you have stated.
Well,
that the electrical inspection can go on, and you can proceed.
okay, my one question is who will be the one to issue the permits? Who's going to be responsible for issuing the permits? I mean, if I go to a job and I say, where's your electrical permit? And they say, we don't have one, who's going to be responsible for issuing the permits? Is it going to be the court?
What do you do right now?
We don't have permits right now.
But as of January 1st, you have to start having
As of
permits.
January the 1st, we're going to be required to get a permit. Right now, like for HVAC, if someone is building a house and putting in a new air conditioning, heat and air, they have to get a permit from the state. They have to be licensed to get a permit, except for, well, for homeowners, and that's another question is, are the homeowners going to be allowed to do their own work? And who's going to issue their permits? Licensed electricians, it says here, has to be the ones to draw a permit, but I'm saying, what do homeowners do that don't have licensed electricians? So there's more than just, signing this.
Part of your contract, and it's underlined in the contract, is electrical inspector further agrees to require and issue, when appropriate, permits prior to any commencement of construction, alteration, or repairs. Any electrical wiring is set forth in KRS 227.480. Records of said permits shall be maintained as required by law. So, Jerry, it's anticipated that under this contract, you will be issuing the permits, and you will have to issue a permit before you can do an inspection.
That's what I'm saying. Who's going to be responsible for that?
The electrical the electrical inspectors are to make sure that they're permitted before you do the inspection.
Where do those permits come from?
Sounds like you have to create one. And so, I mean, that's the way I'm reading this, is that the electrical inspector will create his own permit.
Sound like judges, we've been through this time and time again. The legislature of Kentucky has refused to do a uniform in every 120 counties.
I agree.
And this court has faced this for years. But what we are doing now is complying with the Kentucky statute. The county attorney has given you his advice. Mr. Harris, who's an attorney, has raised the question and brought you forward, which is great, because you needed answers.
So basically, what I'm being told right now is that all I have to do is have a contract with this county, and I can go on inspecting as is.
what
That's
the
true,
county-
but they have to have a permit first. You're gonna have to do a permitting too, Jerry. We discussed this in my office the other day.
Sound to me like they'd found another way to milk the public. It's all, every time you turn around, there's a permit to do this and a permit to do that.
Well,
And the people anymore look like they're gonna have to live up on a rock cliff or something. They ain't gonna be able to put a home
Well,
or nothing in the county. And every time you turn around, there's another fee or something that the people have to take on their back.
Have you got any more questions? The county
Yeah,
attorney,
well,
I
if
hope,
we-
has answered you.
Well, I'm still coming with the permit. There gonna be 4 inspectors that we know of in Pike County. Are we gonna have 4 different permits if I have to create my own permit, you know?
You need to,
That's
all
what
you
it
need to do
sounds
is
like.
comply with the statute.
I mean, it sounds to me like you'll have your own form, and you'll create the permit, and you'll issue the permit, and then you'll maintain the permit in your files.
Well, you know, if that's the case, then a certificate of compliance is,
Are you a resident of Pike County?
yes, sir, I am.
You are?
Yeah, I live at.
That's what I thought.
I live in
I
Sydney.
thought you lived at Sydney. Well, we want to help you and get you the
Yeah,
information that we
and that's what I'm,
can
that's
get
what
for
I'm
you.
wanting. I'm wanting to be able to come up January the 1st, because my boss in Frankfurt told me that as of January the 1st, if I don't have this, or if the county don't have this in place,
We're
I'm not
putting it in
allowed to inspect
place,
in Pike County.
We're putting it in place for you.
What can we do? We're gonna.
We're putting it in place for you, but under that statute, the county attorney has advised you, you have to have your own number system.
We have
You have
that,
to
but-
issue your own permit before you do the inspection, and you have to keep it, comply with the statute,
That's a
and keep that
that's a
record.
certificate of compliance.
That's correct.
I've been issuing those for the last 13 years. So if you have that, then would that be considered the same as a permit? You know, it's the county is one who's given me the permit, or the permission to do this, and the permission to inspect in this county. So somewhere or another, there should be a permit system. There should be some
I
place that
think,
we can
I think
draw-
you're it, Jerry. I think you are it.
Oh, well, it might be coming down to us, but with the HVAC, it's not it. They do it through Frankfurt. They call in and get a permit.
County attorney, you, Mr. Harris, have answered me and him both, I think.
We have no separate building code or electrical code. The permit is just that they comply with the Kentucky statutes. And that's what you need to permit, that what the contractor is suggesting that, or his plan is you would issue a permit that plan would satisfy the Kentucky revised statutes. The Pike County has no separate electrical requirements.
All right,
And
thank you.
If you have any other questions, come by my office, and we'll try to get the county attorney and answer them for you. If you have any other questions.
I'll make a motion, we adopt the electrical inspection contract.
Motion from Magistrate Harris, do I have a second? I have a second. Magistrate Johnson, have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson? Yes. Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson?
No.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. County Attorney,
okay, let me just, so Jerry will know, and if any of the other inspectors are watching, or I'm sure Jerry will be talking to them, I'm going to give the contract to Jimmy Kaiser, our floodplain coordinator, because he already issues the permit as part of our ordinance for the floodplain. So they will be coming to you to sign the contract and the affidavit, so they'll know where the contracts are. I'm sure they've been dealing with you in the past anyway, okay? Jerry, if you could get the word to the other inspectors that they need to come in and sign these, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
County Attorney has asked Jerry that you let the other inspectors know. Okay, thank you. Any other questions? If not, we'll move on. We need acknowledgement of the receipt of the budget of the Mountain Water District to comply with the new statutes. Have a motion, have a second. Magistrate Murphy, have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson? Yes. Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Judge Worth?
Yes. I want to discuss now the oversight of the Pike County Airport Board. And we do have a responsibility of oversight with the board and at the Pike County Airport Board. And reading the newspaper article, and if you pull that up, we had a newspaper article and then we had an editorial. In the newspaper article, it seems that we had an employee up there that had $100 an hour, but he was the only person, from what I read in the paper, that was running the airport on a daily basis. So that's not good business. So what I want this court to do is to recommend that the airport board hire a manager. How in the world are they going to have a computer air service, which they're going to have up there, if they don't have an airport manager? And it goes back to when Pat and I had dinner about a year and a half ago with the Aeronautics Commissioner of Kentucky, and he asked the question, who is your airport manager? Folks, I didn't know. I came back and asked Judge Hayes if he would look at the personnel records, since they are hard through the fiscal court that pay them, even though we're reimbursed. And we called up to the airport and they said the name was Matt Ray. We called Matt Ray down to the office and talked to him, and he wasn't the manager of the airport. Matt Ray was an invaluable employee at the airport, as Hatcher can tell you, but he was the head of maintenance. He said he wasn't a manager, and that's what he was listed on the county record. I went to the airport board, really got fluffed off that day before they met, told them I didn't want to do it in meeting. I wanted to meet with them before the meeting started, and wanted to recommend to them at that time that they hire an airport manager. But that Matt Ray was not the manager of the airport, that nobody was running the airport on a daily basis, but come to find out, and I read the newspaper, that the person who's no longer employed, he is no longer employed by the airport board, was the one that was running it on a daily basis. Now, they had paid him $64,000 in 2012, and up until he left, about the time of this newspaper article, they had paid him right close to $60,000 in 2013. So the board can't say, well, we got no money to pay him. Heck, they've been paying a fella $100 an hour to run the airport, evidently. So it'd be my motion that this court strongly recommend to the airport board that they employ a full-time airport manager like every airport's got in this Commonwealth, and like Denver Stewart was for all the years he was here. It seems that when the airport changed and Mr. DeBourbon come in, he decided to be the chairman of the board and the airport manager. Since he's left, they haven't put anybody in that position, because he was at the airport every day. So now my motion is that they hire somebody as an airport manager.
Judge, do they listen to the court very much up there? I don't know where these motions or recommendations will help any. I was at a meeting up there when they dedicated the airport, and they never recognized the county as even having any part of it. So I just wonder sometimes.
If you look at the sign on your monitors. Now, folks, that sign was placed up there in the last few days. I'm going to read you what that sign says. And Magistrate Murphy, you're the one that you and I talked about. That the question was, who owns the airport? Well, when you read the city's document to the company that they did a contract with, they said they owned half of the airport. The airport is owned by Pike County Fiscal Court. Hatcher family gave it. What Mr. Dotson was talking about, they didn't even recognize the Hatcher family that day who made this possible. What made it possible was the Pike County Fiscal Court and the Hatcher family. not the city of Pikeville. They had no money in it and was not even the Pikeville Pike County Airport Board at that time. It was only Pike County. They came in later. But that sign says, if you read it, a Pike County government facility operated by the Pike County Pikeville Airport Board. And it shows that we're going to have commercial air service, and it shows the members of the board, the 3 of the city, 3 of the county, and at the bottom, you can't hardly read it, but it has a place for airport manager, and that's blank. So we hope they'll fill that in. We hope that that board will fill this in, and they can't come back into us and say, oh, we got no money. You all want them, you hire them. They paid this fella $64,000 in 2012 and around $60,000 in 2013 when he left. If it had kept on paying him, it looked like it had been up to about $80,000 this year. But having said that, the motion's on the floor that we strongly urge the airport board to hire an airport board manager. Do I have a second? Second by Magistrate Robinson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Judge, before I vote, I'm not sure, I was gonna maybe ask Roland if do we need to adopt some type of resolution, or do we need to, what exactly is it the letter's gonna say? I mean, would that be?
My understanding is it would just be a motion, and obviously it would not be binding on the board, that it's a motion to suggest to the Pike County Pikeville Airport Board that they hire a manager for the airport. Obviously, it wouldn't be binding on them. We can't mandate what they do.
Right, so we're just in favor of having an airport manager?
My understanding, the intent of the motion is to strongly suggest to the airport board that the fiscal court thinks the manager needs to be hired.
Okay.
Judge, before we vote, who do we have on that board that we appointed from the county?
Let me time out. Let me clarify.
Time out when you get.
Let me clarify this because I think that there's a big misunderstanding on the composition of this board. There are not city appointees and county appointees. They are joint appointees of the judge executive and the mayor of the city of Pikeville. So all these appointees are joint appointees. They're not city appointees, they're not county appointees. They are joint appointees.
Of the judge and the mayor?
By the judge and the mayor.
And we have to approve each other's as we submit them.
And
He has to approve the names I submit, I have to approve the names he submits.
And they have to be approved by the court and the commission.
So we don't have 2 and 2.
It is not broken down that way. They are joint appointments.
So if the judge agrees with the city, there could be 4 city board members.
They are not city, they are not county, they are members of the board jointly appointed. They could all 6 live in the city of Pikeville and be the pro-Pikeville people in the world if they wanted to, or vice versa. They could all live outside the city limits of Pikeville. They are joint appointments.
I can tell you who I recommended to the mayor that he finally approved, and that was Jack Sykes, Greg Johnson, and Brent Wagner. That's the 3 that I recommended that the mayor approved. I recommended others to him that he wouldn't approve.
By custom, the mayor has suggested 3 and the judge executive has suggested 3, but they are joint appointments. They are not designated as city appointees and county appointees.
So they essentially, as it stands now, they don't have anybody managing the day-to-day operations. Is that?
Not according to the paper of what I read.
And are you going to write a letter and just asking that we're suggesting?
I'm going to send them a copy of the resolution that the county attorney stated it.
Okay, I'll vote yes.
Judge, will this person be interviewed by you and the mayor to make sure, or the board going to do that, or how you going to do that?
Board, my understanding, Mr. County Attorney, the board would do that themselves.
The way that it operates now is the board does the hiring and firing, but they are paid by the county and reimbursed, and correct me if I'm mistaken, but reimbursed in full by the airport board. So they are paid by the county initially, but we are fully reimbursed by the board.
I submit them a bill at the end of each fiscal year, and they pay for it in total.
What's Matt's title up there? Does he have a title?
I think he's only like a 3A position. You have Matt Ray, you have
Jeff?
the Ray. Anna Reed is an administrative employee. She probably does most of the clerical work for them.
Yeah, I don't have a problem, Judge. I mean, obviously, they need somebody managing the day-to-day operations, and they need a manager. And like, I'm like Roland, they don't have to listen to us, but, you know, obviously, they, with the commercial air service, it does appear they're gonna need somebody up there. You know, even if it's somebody that's already up there, but it does appear that they probably do need a manager, and I don't have a problem voting for it.
Judge, do we have a traffic controller that works there every day, that brings the planes in and out?
We have, how many employees up there? 3? There's 4. I think there are 4. All of them are trained. A pilot might describe that. Mr. Anderson, you or Mr. Harris, you all could describe that better than I could. All 4 of them are trained to use the radio.
Yeah, there's not a controller, air traffic controller there at the airport, but the line guys that are there working, they can help you direct traffic when you come into on the apron there in front of the.
Well, you just come in and out when you want to.
Just fly in and out when you want to. You don't have to have an appointment.
Any other questions?
Judge, I'll just say, I've been frustrated with the airport board specifically. It started with the sale of the Marion's Branch property. It goes back even further with the removal of Mike DeBourbon from the board. You know, the board was able to save a substantial amount of money by having Mike DeBourbon involved in the operations up there. He did that voluntarily, didn't charge the airport board for the work that he did there, and he's there all the time and did everything from use the weed eater to check the different systems that operate there at the airport board. And so when he was removed from the board or wasn't reappointed, that left a void there. And I think that the current board is trying to fill that void with a $100 an hour employee, or had been. And I think that's where the problem came about. I've asked several times about for an investigation into whether or not the board members knew about the appraisals for the Marion's Branch property. There was the appraisals for the Marion's Branch property. There was one that was in excess of $3 million, and it ended up being transferred for less than $1 million. So do I think there are problems at the airport board? Yes, I do. Do I think they need to be looked into? Absolutely. Is a manager going to solve all the problems there with the board and them not living up to their fiduciary duties as board members? I don't think that's going to happen, but I do think that having a manager is probably a good idea, since Mr. DeBourbon isn't going to be involved. So that's my 2 cents.
Anybody else have a statement to make or a question? Did that get everybody? Go ahead and finish calling the roll.
Master Johnson?
Yes.
Master Murphy?
Yes.
Master Robinson? Yes. Master Dodson?
Yes.
Master Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes. Next we have,
Bids.
I've got a black box here. I might call on the county attorney to tell me what it is, Jeannie. I'll have to open that, Judge Hayes. Maybe it's a surprise. It's Christmas time. It might be a surprise for the county attorney. What we have today, as everybody in this courtroom and aware, and I see Mr. County Attorney back here, Mr. Hall, and if you would come forward over to the podium, I would appreciate it. But folks, as we all know, that Roland Case has been appointed the judge for the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and he will be leaving us. This will be his last meeting. And folks, and this court can tell you, I don't know what we would have done if it hadn't been for Roland Case. Roland Case has kept me within the confines of the Kentucky statutes, many, many times. I get to wanting to practice law, Madam Treasurer, without a license every once in a while. And he always says, you can't do that. And I appreciate Roland, Mr. County Attorney. He has been available to us. He has been a part of our team running county government. This county is a complicated county to run. It's the largest county in land area with all of the different problems we have due to the terrain and all. But Roland has been a part of operating county government, same as you have, Mr. County Attorney. And your all's office, and with Roland Case especially assigned to us, we have been able to I think, properly govern this county during his tenure. So we have to present to Roland Case a little memo from myself and the magistrates and from you, Mr. County Attorney. And I would like to turn the microphone over to you because you're losing, I know, and you're happy that he's going to be a judge, but you're hated just like we are. We're sitting here at a little bit of a lull and a little bit of a loss presently. But Mr. County Attorney.
You got 5 minutes.
Thank you, Vernon Chick. Is that to eat Thursday or to speak here with you? Judge, I appreciate it, and all the magistrates, all the commissioners here, and all the people here, and the people from our office, I believe, are making their way over. 15 years ago, I was here. By the way, I've not seen that item that you're getting ready to hand him. I've seen the bill. I told him to send the bill over to me. I'm hoping it's Jeannie promised me it wasn't too bad. We've sit here 15 years ago. Jeff Anderson's dad, Reed Anderson, was leaving us, and he's one of those guys that had been a journeyman, been here a long time, been circuit judge, brought a wealth of experience and didn't know how he was going to replace him. He knew everything you wanted to know about a road, whether it be a dirt road or an interstate. He'd worked with roads all across Commonwealth of Kentucky, and that was a big loss to me at that time to have an assistant that had raised me. So that was kind of interesting. So 15 years ago, I had several people, and I was lucky to get a first-round draft pick. Got one of the top lawyers in our region, one of the top. If you go back and look at people that's made money in this town, that's not how you measure a lawyer, but it's a pretty good measuring stick. He was one of the top wage-earning lawyers in the community, and when I first met Roland, I just knew him when I came out of law school. They said, he's that guy that's real. Kelsey Jr. brought a genius back home from law school with him, worked with Kelsey Sr. all those years, and with Kelsey Jr., Kelsey Friend Jr. as a partner. So I know we really got a first-round draft pick when we got him. I didn't know we'd get to keep each other 15 years. I didn't know I'd get to stay here 15 years, and thanks for all of you in this room, all of you throughout this county watching by Pike TV. Thanks to you all, I've got to stay here 15 years, and in turn, Roland got to stay here 15 years with me. So there's been a lot of hard decisions that are made behind the scenes. These magistrates will tell you, this county judge will tell you, in politics, your survival time's pretty limited. Sometimes you get to come back a few times, but your time here is not actually somewhat limited, and you take advantage of it. But there's a lot of sharp people behind the scenes. These ladies that you see up here, all these commissioners here know a lot more about the day-to-day operations of this county than obviously the political office holders do. We had to give you just an example of one of the things he had to do. This court voted to put the board for the new courthouse had to vote to put this new courthouse in over here across the street. They got to vote on it. We got to be the executioners, just like when a jury sentences you to death, somebody has to go pull the trigger, has to go hang you. So Roland got the good duty of serving papers on all these business owners over here in town when we burned half the downtown down to build this beautiful courthouse. Progress has its price, and Roland had to pay that price for us over there. So we appreciate him doing the hard jobs. I got to go over there to those businesses and swear up and down. I had nothing to do with it. So Roland's been great to have with me. He knows how to do all the technical work in the legal field, just like these guys know how to do the technical work in the construction areas and the engineering areas and the water areas and the social service areas. You've got sharp people throughout this county. So when those of us in elected office kind of silly. Remember, we've surrounded ourselves here with some pretty daggone sharp people. And that's why this county is so good, is because these magistrates and this judge and all of us are smart enough to get smart people around us. And that's one thing we've always done here, is surround ourselves with some pretty sharp people. There's none sharper than the guy that you're recognizing today. And he will be fair down there as a judge, but let me tell you, on a day-to-day, he was always, every time we'd make a decision, he thought just as much about somebody that was living on Feds Creek, Majestic, 3 Mile, Turkey Creek, Blackberry, Woodman, places throughout this county. There's not a community or a road that he didn't mention to me. And he had his heart out there and concern since the day he came to Pike County for the people that work in this county and the people out in the perimeter of this county. And he represented them very well through his private office. And he's going to have to give that up as well. So those of you that he's represented, whether it be bankruptcy, comp, car wrecks, injuries, Social Security, all those people are going to be losing him as well. My 20 employees are going to miss him. We've got a box in every place in here that says RC, and that's not for drinks. There's a box in every office that says RC on it. Is there not? There's my staff back here. There's an RC on every letter. I go through my mail, I put RC on several items, and if they don't know what it is, they put RC and I initial it. So I'd say I would send, believe it or not, I send 15 to 20 letters out every couple days to him over there. There's that much stacks of mail that come through just for him to sort through. It takes about an hour just to sort through the mail he receives that we forward to him. You don't get to see that on TV. You don't get to see that out here in public. You don't get to see his name on the walls of this building. But he did the work that helped make this just a fine town, a fine place, and made our office I'm very proud of our office. I'm very proud of the work that Roland Case did. He had the respect. You never could find out. Somebody told me one day, he said, we can't find out what side he's on. I said, well, he's a lawyer for the county. That's his side he's on. He's for the county, and the county is the people of this county. So he steered away from political temptations when they're there, and they're there. Believe me, you get excited in this stuff, and you want to take a side because you always feel like one side or another is the better route to go. But we've tried to just do our duty, and I don't know how you can deal better than to deal with Roland Case. There's not been a negative word one said about him except once or twice, and we took care of that. So we appreciate you, Roland. This court appreciates you, and I think Roland loves this court. He had a hard time. He's going to have a real hard time leaving you guys. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard on him. It is, because he loves this place. Thank y'all.
Mr. County Attorney, if you'll come up, we'll get a picture from up here. They can take a picture from back there. Judge Hayes, in the meantime, is going to read what we have to present to him.
Judge, this is a plaque, and it says, the Pike County Fiscal Court proudly honors R. Roland Case in recognition of his 15 years of dedicated service to the elected members of the Fiscal Court and to the people of Pike County as Assistant County Attorney. Mr. Case is to be commended for his wise counsel, trusted judgment, and sound advice to the members of this body. Dated December the 17th, 2013, presented by Wayne T. Rutherford, Judge Executive, Howard Keith Hall, County Attorney, District 1, Jeff Anderson, District 2, Vernon Chick Johnson, District 3, Leo Murphy, District 4, Kenneth Robinson, District 5, Hillman Dotson, District 6, Chris Harris. And Judge, I want to say that in the 7 years that I have served as deputy judge of this county, I have had the opportunity and the privilege and the honor to work with Roland Case almost on a daily basis, and he likes to tell people we agree 98% of the time, Judge, and that hadn't been easy sometimes because we've had to disagree with you, and you're a hard person to disagree with, but we've been able to try to give you that wise counsel, and I know you eventually will listen to wise counsel. So, Roland, it's been an honor and privilege to serve these past 7 years with you.
Judge Hayes, if you'll get in the picture. I'd love to. Hold on, you hold that. Everybody, can you get everybody in? They need to turn sideways. Turn sideways. Okay, let's go. See if you can get them.
Where's that chick? Can I get a picture? Roland, can I bring the office up? Come up here, office, real quick. Can I get the office up here real quick? 2 minutes. I know y'all want to eat.
I'll just fill in the gap here while everybody's coming up, and I want to say a few words about Roland and the trust that I've had in him. I've been on the court now for almost 12 years, and Roland, you've been here as long as I have, a little longer, and I've always felt like that you have the county's best interest at heart. I felt like that you did your very best to represent the county and the fiscal court in all matters that come before us. And you've always been a voice, a calming voice of reason, and you've been fair in all your dealings with us. And at times I know that it has not been easy, but you have done a fantastic job as Assistant County Attorney, and I want you to know that I appreciate you personally, professionally, and as a friend, and thank you for all that you've done for us.
All right, big day, big day.
I think you're going to make a great judge.
Thank you all, and Roland, of course, we'll miss you, miss your counsel and your advice, and thank you for, and I'm sure Jeannie and all the staff in our offices, we've relied on you continuously, and you've always responded.
Judge, I'd like to say too that me and Roland has been here for a few years together, and we've had some good times and we've had some bad times. We've seen the courtroom from wall to wall and didn't know whether we were going to get out of here or not. But Roland has always been one to tell you what the law was, whether you wanted to hear it or not. And he'd argue with you too if you didn't agree with what the law was. He would always try to keep you doing the right things. And Roland, I appreciate that. And you know, like I say, we've had our ups and downs, but I always respected you and had a lot to look forward to when I asked you for things, and I knew I was going to get the right answers.
Judge, just real quickly, I'd just like to echo what Chris and Hillman said, and it's been a pleasure working with Roland, and wish him the best of luck in his new endeavor.
Roland, I hate to see you leave because you've been a lot of good to me, all your advice and everything. Sometimes I wouldn't listen, but you chew me out pretty good, but we'd always come out ahead. You're a friend. You're my friend.
Yeah, I just wanted to say too, in the 11th year, and I've known Roland, and want to thank him for keeping us straight, the whole court, and me too. And he's been a friend, and I believe he'd make a real judge for the workers' compensation. And like I said, wish you the best, Roland.
I never did know Roland until I come down here and he met me out in the hall talking to me, but it's been nice working with you, Roland, and appreciate you.
Thank you all. And Roland, you know how we feel. And we'll still be here. Come by and see us. We'll miss you. Next what do we have? Magistrate Harris, you'll like this if you look at the monitor. We are going to have the Belfry High School team over, and it needs to be scheduled, Jeannie, but we wanted to congratulate them as a body of the Belfry Pirates, all those ambassadors for all these years that goes around the state and promotes Pike County and the great Belfry Pirate tradition and the Pond Creek tradition.
It is, Judge, and we're very proud of the Coach Haywood and the football team, another state championship. That's one for the middle school this year and one for the high school as well. So we've got our football program is really on track, and that's thanks to a lot of people. I think Coach Haywood would be the first to give credit to his coaching staff, his assistant coaches, and the kids and the parents. But he plays an integral role in the success of that program. And they brought a lot of pride to our little community, and we appreciate them and all the good things that have come and will continue to come in the coming year as a result of their hard work and the championship.
Well, congratulations, Belfry High School, and you're certainly a lot of ambassadors as you've traveled around the state. What do we have next on the agenda? Next, we have the summit, and of course, we was all for the summit. We wanted it to be a success, still want it to be a success, but look at your monitor and look at your 40 studies that's been done. That's 40 that's been done. 90-some% of them have been done in the 7 years that we've been here this tenure. But the problem with all of those studies is there's not been money with them. So the problem is money. And we was hoping from the summit, from SOAR, the summit, that at the end, that in the future, there will be money available. But it goes back, and if you pull up two fellows from Minnesota who was here, if you pull that up on here, that's the most, right here. Many of you heard this presentation, and it was from the Orange Range Resources and Rehabilitation Board, which was put in place in 1941. And what they did, they took a production tax, as you took iron ore out of the bowels of the earth, and on the production tax, they gave the money to a board made up of the elected senators and delegates or state representatives. And they started developing these counties where the iron ore was. The IRRRB, you heard that at the summit, you saw it on television, and the story that they told reminded me in 1971 when I proposed a coal severance tax for the Commonwealth, and all the money was to be returned to the counties so that we could develop, and told them in Frankfurt in the legislature joint session that we was a third world country, we needed to be developed, we needed our money, that they tell me coal was going to be extinct someday, and that we needed jobs for our children so we wouldn't have to send them out and loss of brain power. So hopefully from this summit, but we didn't get that money. The state chose to put half of it in the state budget, give the legislature 50%, we get back 12. Now we don't get back much because we've been put out of business, not because coal is extinct, because EPA has put us out of business. And we can't mine coal. You can't get a permit. You can't mine coal. So we certainly, if you'll go back to this, Dan, to this summit, we hope it works. We hope that we know that we got the word out to Kentucky. We know that we showcased Pike County and Pikeville while they was here. But I had to apologize to so many people for having to drive up here on a 2-lane road at the Mountain Parkway. And I asked the energy-rich place and paid more than $1 billion into the state budget, and yet have to drive on a 4-lane road to get up here and to get to our state capitol. I can leave this courthouse and drive to Charleston, West Virginia on a 4-lane road. So that's the things that we have been overlooked. Nobody looked east. Paul Patton worked to get us back more money, and he did get us back more money for a while. But folks, that's gone. Now we don't have any coal production. Our coal jobs are gone. Our people are suffering. And we hope that this SOAR some way can bring money. And that is the key to us development. We are 4 ahead of all the other counties, even though we have more miners out of work, out of no jobs today. It's moving out of here. Our population is going to go on down. They had the answer in Minnesota. They put, in fact, a severance tax on, sent that money back to the area, and they are diversified. You heard these two fellows tell the story. They are diversified, and that's what we need in the future. So hopefully SOAR was go on. I know we got a Christmas thing today. Your Fallen Peace Officers Memorial. one of the best ceremonies that I ever participated in. Judge Hayes, I'm sure you didn't have any trouble going to sleep that night because you had to read all of the names of those 26, I remember. And what a ceremony this was. And this court we have continued the policy of trying to recognize people that ought to be recognized in this county. And we was blessed to have money available to us to do what we did in the hallway of this physical court, and to work with the Fraternal Order of Police to make this possible, and Terry Thompson, their president, and Jeannie Robinson coordinating the meetings and all that was done. But the First Lady of the former First Lady of the Commonwealth, this is named for her father, Roy Conway. And Judge Hayes, I'll commend you again for the job that you done in emceeing this and the involvement of all of these police officers, all these different agencies, and to have this beautiful memorial that will be there for people to walk by and to touch, and to these people that gave their life so that we'll be able to your day to be in peace and to do that. And Dan, if you'll move on, we'll try to get this. Pat and I went to the State Tourism Awards, and as Dan runs through these, you will see that Pike County won 5 tourism awards, 1 first place, 2 second place, and we placed in the other one. The only county other than Harlan County in eastern Kentucky that got any award at this year's state meeting in the Silback in Louisville, Kentucky. Pike County was called out 5 times there. We know as a physical court what we did and what has happened in the last year with our Pike County tourism. They are strong. We have a good tourism staff, and we are continuing to the Hatfield and McCoy to get in. We have Mr. Scott on that board now, and we are going to be able to. Then the next we have is Christmas around the courthouse. I believe this year that the offices and the courthouse is decorated more beautiful than it has in all the many years that I've been here. And we, of course, have this day so people can tour the courthouse so that they can, and we also, through Jeannie Robinson, she also brings in the band up from Pike Central, and also brings their choir. And it was beautiful this year. I think it was Charles Carlton who said, I've been to 6 of them, and this was the best one that we've had. And also, we also promote the Christmas Village of William Pearl Elliott has in the clerk's office. Folks, if you haven't been there, when you leave here today, go into that office, and you will see unbelievable. It looks like it's 1.5 miles long. But move on, if you would. The NRC project, Barn She, you've seen this picture before. Master Dotson, they've seen this. You see the before. Now we're going to show you the after pictures. So that project has been completed, and Jeannie has reported to us, and the contractor is now done, I understand, and of course contractors get paid. Scholar House, which the physical court is a part of bringing here. They're taking applications, these young women, or not only young women who made mistakes in high school, but also in college and universities, that is a single parent that wants a college education free at Pikeville College or the community college system here in Pikeville. Please go to the Scholar House, and the numbers on here. Dan, do you have the numbers on here? The numbers that you have is 606-218-5250, and come in, fill out application, and if you qualify, you'll be going to Pikeville College. You'll get you an education. You have child care. You have security. And what else do we have, Dan, today?
Judge, before we move off of that, I want to briefly just say that I was lucky enough to get to tour the Scholar House in Louisville a few weeks ago.
Oh, wonderful.
And I got to see, I guess this was one of the first that was started, and the chief, she doesn't call herself the chief executive officer, she calls herself the chief possibilities officer. and she gave us a personal tour of the facility, and we got to meet some of the residents there. And this really is an awesome opportunity for people who may have made some bad decisions in their life, and gives them an opportunity to get a hand up and to turn into a productive member of society, and to get a good education and a job and have a place to raise their children. And it was really, in being there and having the tour, it really opened my eyes to some of the good that can come out of the Scholar House idea. And so I just encourage anybody that single mothers with young children, this is a real opportunity. And the waiting list there for the one in Louisville was phenomenal. I mean, these people know that when you get into this program, it's going to make a difference in your life. And I hope that the one here is operated similarly, but it really is a good opportunity for people who are in a bad situation to make something good of themselves.
Thank you, Mr. Harris, and we are operating with the Scholar House of Louisville. Next is Artist Collaborative Theater, upcoming 2013 productions. We also have that on our message signs outside. Want to take this opportunity to wish everybody in the county a Merry Christmas. We've got some more business to take care of. The next we'll have the awarding of bids. Mr. Stacy.
Judge, I've got 2 bids to present to the court. The first bid is bid number 2 of 2013, of 42 of 2013. NRCS Watershed Project for Sloan's Branch at Millard over in District 4. Received 9 bids. Gibson Trucking Company, $59,816.40. LSM Excavating, $89,887.50. Mudcat Construction Incorporated, $74,125. Mullins Enterprises, $49,994. Pikeville Paving, $80,850. Smith Construction, $69,845. Taco, $65,800. Tri-State Guardrail, $64,810. And York Smith Trucking, $59,950. And my recommendation would be to award this bid to Mullins Enterprises, who had the lowest evaluated bid price of $49,994.
Have a motion. Have a motion, Mr. Robin. Have a second, Mr. Johnson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Yes. Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
The second bid is bid number 43 for 2013, NRCS Watershed Project, Debbie Simmons Property Demolition and Disposal over in District 5. Received 9 bids. Bowman Excavating, $45,400. Gibson Trucking Company, $62,700. Jared Smith Construction, $19,400. LSM Excavating, $36,000. Mudcat Construction, $22,100. Mullins Enterprises, $16,490. Smith Construction, $25,000. Taco, $22,500. And Tri-State Guardrail, $22,600. And my recommendation would be to award the bid to Mullins Enterprises, having the lowest evaluated bid price of $16,490.
Do I have a motion? Have a motion, Mr. Murphy, to have a second? Have a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson?
Yes.
Mr. Harris? Judge Rutherford?
On that Debbie Simmons property, what are they gonna do up there, Frankie? Any idea?
They're gonna start today. Once the court awarded the bid, then they're gonna move in today and actually start tomorrow. They're gonna take out the house, the trailer, and then that little like a 2-story apartment building behind the house. And then reclaim the property.
they're gonna stabilize the property or just,
No, this is just to remove the house and all the structures. So they'll take out the concrete, the blacktop, the houses, the trailer, anything. This is just to remove the structures on the property. This has nothing to do with the slide.
so Jimmy, I guess slide will stay as is is that the agreement that we come up with? Just leave it there and remove it as it actually comes in, or?
Any other questions?
Hillman, we have some in-kind that we need to talk about. We'll probably talk about it tomorrow. The NRCS people from Lexington will be here. And we have some in-kind that we have to do 10% of this total project up there. So we may have to do some work there, but we'll look at it and see what we need to do.
But was it anything in the contract as far as stabilizing the slide, or,
That
see,
was
we
one of-
removed it ourselves.
That was supposed to be our in-kind.
And I'm just thinking down the road, if it occurs again, I guess it'd be up to us to try to remove it, right?
Well, hopefully they'd come back and fix it, but.
Well, that's what I was trying to find out, if there was any monies available for any stabilization of the slide. Frank, you know how it was. It was several loads we hauled out of there.
During this process, Hillman, with the bid, the other day we spoke to them, they'll be taking, as they leave the premises of that property, they'll be taking a lot of that material that's caused us problems of the driveway. They'll be taking that out. Matter of fact, they'll be using some of the material to fill in up there. So that there won't be a driveway there when they leave that property. So that's going to help us a whole lot. But just to say that they've got money to do any stabilization on it, no.
Any other questions? If not, we'll move on to Magistrate Road Work. Magistrate Anderson.
I'll make a motion. Approve the road
Motion,
work.
Magistrate Anderson, to have a second. Magistrate Johnson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy.
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson. Magistrate Dodson.
Yes.
Magistrate Harris.
Yes.
Judge Ruthford.
Magistrate comments. Magistrate Anderson.
Judge, I'd just like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. And as we spoke earlier, we've got a lot of people in this county that are unemployed, they're hurting. They don't know, as we don't, what the future holds for this county. And I think we need to keep them in our prayers and our thoughts, and hopefully this coal industry will pick back up. It's a tough time right now for a lot of people. I've got a lot of friends, I'm sure a lot of people here in this room do, that are in the coal business. And it's just it's a really, really heart-wrenching time right now. But I just would like to ask everybody in the county to keep these people in their thoughts and their prayers. That's all I have.
Magistrate Johnson.
I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year's.
Magistrate Murphy.
Yes, the same for me. Wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and especially our county workers and the people in need, and we all need to keep them in our prayers.
Magistrate Robinson.
I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, and I hope Roland has a good time with his new job.
Magistrate Dodson.
Judge, I'll try not to talk too much today, but, we had a good meeting on our four-wheelers, and I want to update the people about the meeting we had with you and the coal company. And we're shooting to have a ride sometime after the first of the year with the people that own the property, the coal operator, and the engineer on their properties. And we're hoping to start at Williamson and end up in Buchanan County, Virginia that day. That's what we're shooting for. And I'm hoping that we can put together a ride with our four-wheelers all over the county and let them get involved and see what kind of trails we have here in Pike County. And I think that's where we need to really pull together and see what we can get done. And I just want to thank the people for putting up with me for last year. and giving me the opportunity to represent them. We've got a lot to look forward to in Pike County, and you know, we have a lot to offer as a court. We brought forth a lot of valuable things for this county, and we've worked together. We've not always agreed, Chick, but you know, we still love one another, and we just hope everybody has a good holiday and a happy New Year. Thank you.
Magistrate Harris.
Just briefly want to wish everybody a happy holiday season, and thank everybody that's participated in preparing the food that we're going to have here today for the holiday celebration, and hope you all have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Pike County Fiscal Court invites everybody in the courtroom to eat with us today. This is today that we have the annual Christmas dinner, and there's always plenty of good food. Mr. Personnel Director, do you have anything at all?
We do, Judge. Judge, we do. If you're ready for an executive session, or do you want to do the treasurer's business before we?
We'll do the treasurer's business and then I want to see if you had anything.
We will need an executive session, Judge, and we will need to do that, excuse me, in your office, because they'll be carrying food from the kitchen out to the courtroom in the conference room.
TJ, would you prepare my office with enough seats in there so that we'll have enough seats for myself and the magistrates and the county attorney and Judge Hayes? Madam Treasurer.
Authorize any necessary transfers and interfund transfers to pay the bills, payroll, health, and life insurance.
Have a motion, Magistrate Murphy, second by Magistrate Robinson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Authorize the payment of the expenditure approval list dated December 16th, 2013, and any other utility and telephone bills that are received before we print the checks by the end of the week.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Have a motion from Magistrate Johnson. Have a second with Magistrate Murphy. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Harris?
Abstain.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
Authorize the following checks in the amount of J&M Monitoring Incorporated NRCS pass-through when received, total amount of $23,374.85 for asbestos at 42 Pearl Street, $5,205. Asbestos at 493 Smith Bottom Loop, Sidney, Kentucky, $262.40. Asbestos at 10 West Helena Avenue, Meda, Kentucky, $5,006.80. Asbestos at 232 Hedge Road, Pikeville, Kentucky, $2,180.45. Asbestos at 210 Winds Branch, Pikeville, Kentucky, $500. Asbestos at 1133 Raccoon Road, Raccoon, Kentucky, $5,120.70. Asbestos at 1105 Raccoon Road, Raccoon, Kentucky, $5,099.50.
Nice too many. Do I have a motion?
Yeah, let me just go ahead and do them all together. Smith Construction is an NRCS project that when the money's received, we need to pass it through on Pico Hollow, and that amount is $67,745. Also, we have an invoice for Unisign Corporation for a 4x8 single-face model 30 sign with 2.5-inch by 22.5-inch single-face aluminum name tag sign. The ADF is to reimburse this. It's for $1,420.
Do I have a motion? Motion, Magistrate Murphy. Have a second, Magistrate Robinson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson? Yes. Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson? Yes. Magistrate Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Jeannie's put on here that we need to authorize a check when the money is received to Ken and Sandy Dameron. At the last court meeting on 11/19, we authorized the check to go to Big Creek, so we just need to change the order on 11/19, 2013, .013 to let it reflect that the vendor is actually going to be Ken and Sandy Dameron instead
Madam
of Big
Clerk,
Creek
did you
Volunteer Fire
understand that?
Department.
Thank you.
Is that all right through with the books?
Yes.
Okay, because I think the
DLG.
line item, DLG approved? Okay.
Yes, DOG approved that we do, or Amy Barnes. Yeah, we do this by motion, though,
Motion,
to
Mr.
show the
Harris.
change.
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
Motion, have a second?
Second.
Mr. Murphy, have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
We need, not on my agenda, is authorize the judge to sign a security release form from Community Trust Bank. They have our deposits over pledged. They've got about 4 million pledged, and we only have been running about 2 million and something. They will monitor it, and if they have to increase it, they will. But at this point, they want to have some of the securities released, so authorize the judge to sign.
To have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Harris, have a second, Mr. Robinson, have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson? Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson? Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
I don't have any further business, Judge.
Thank you, Madam Treasurer.
Motion to
Mr.
go into
Harris, any-
executive session pursuant to KRS 61-810, discuss specific personnel matters.
We're going into closed session. It shouldn't last very long at all. We'll be right back out. We now have a majority of the court back out here to have a motion to go back into open session, please. Have a motion, have a second. Mr. Robinson, have a roll call vote.
Mr. Anderson is not here yet. Mr. Johnson is not here yet. Mr. Murphy? Here. Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson? Mr. Harris? And Judge Rutherford?
Yes. We have a quorum, and Roland is hungry, and he's trying to get the rest of them in, so. Judge Hayes, as soon as they get seated, would you go ahead and give the personnel report, please?
All right. Judge, we have several matters with regard to personnel. First, a mechanic helper position located at the Ford Mountain Maintenance Garage. Judge, that has been a 4H rate of pay position, and it has been posted, and we have a senior the employee who was senior and qualified has been temporarily working in that position on a tryout basis. This court, at its last meeting, passed any decision on that job, but personnel's recommendation with regard to that position, Judge, is that we again pass it. However, that we change the rate of pay for the mechanic helper at the Ford Mountain Maintenance Garage from a 4H rate of pay to a 3H rate of pay, and then re-advertise that, have it posted for new bidding. Next, Judge, I want to go to the position of landfill transfer truck driver, and that has been a truck driving position. We'd like to have that changed, the title of that job changed, Judge, and would recommend that we change that position from truck driver to transfer truck driver / well monitor, and that's the methane gas wells we're talking about, and change that rate of pay, Judge, from a 3H rate to a 4H rate of pay. And that will be our recommendation with regard to that. Judge, there has been another job which has been posted and is now ready to be filled, truck driver / roll-off / transfer truck at the solid waste landfill. That's a 3H rate of pay. Judge, we would recommend that Richard Mullins, the only employee bidding on the job, who is qualified with a Class B CDL, be awarded that job. Judge, we had one request for a 6 months extension for an employee, Robert Phillips, who has been off since June the 11th. with regard to a work-related injury. He's been off 6 months now, and he's asked for an additional 6 months. It is our recommendation, personnel's recommendation, that that request be denied. Next, Judge, we need just to acknowledge the seasonal layoff of Alfred Bryan effective October the 26th, 2013. Then, Judge, we've got a lot of county employees here. They're very hungry, and they're like a bunch of children anticipating Santa's arrival on Christmas Eve. They're waiting for news about Monday before Christmas. You can see the smiles on their faces now in anticipation of what we're about to recommend, Judge. Since Christmas Eve is on Tuesday, December the 24th, and Christmas the following day on Wednesday, Judge, it's personnel's recommendation that this court grant our employees a day off on Monday, giving them a 3-day holiday, and for the public who may be watching, you magistrates better know that's your most popular decision of the year. But for the public who is watching on Pike TV and who may be concerned about the solid waste pickup, Bobby Mullins, Solid Waste Commissioner, has assured this court that boxes will be strategically placed all around Pike County and left in place for that entire Christmas week. And so it shouldn't be any problem with trash accumulation. And Judge, that is all that I have. However, Judge, having got the mic and have that privilege, I too want to wish all our employees, this court, and all of our Pike County people and people everywhere within the sound of my voice a very Merry Christmas, a joyous and a wondrous New Year. I do want to say this too. The dinner has traditionally been provided. We're about to eat in just a few minutes, hopefully. Has traditionally been provided by this court, the Pike Fiscal Court, and you magistrates, and through the good efforts of all of our Pike County employees here in the courthouse who bring a dish. It doesn't cost the taxpayers anything, Judge, but this year we have a very special treat because we're being joined by the Pike County PVA, Lonnie Osborne, who's off to my left now, and his office and staff, and I see them sitting back here. They're joining the court and the county employees in providing this wonderful meal that we're about to partake of, and we thank Lonnie Osborne, the Pike County PVA. And Lonnie looks like he wants to say something. We're in trouble now. Lonnie Osborne.
Need a microphone. Need a microphone. You'll need a microphone on Pike TV.
My question to the judge is, you're granting Monday your employees off. Are you closing the courthouse?
Courthouse will be closed, and we'll give you a letter as we usually do.
Okay, thank you, Judge. That's what I need.
Thank you, Lonnie, and your staff for the efforts in helping us celebrate Christmas. Judge, that's all we have.
Hey, John Doug. Hey, John Doug, let Lonnie eat first. He's been sitting there since 10 o'clock this morning.
Master Johnson, if you'd taken a good look at our PVA, he doesn't need to eat first. Maybe not at all.
In regard to the personnel, I will accept the recommendation. It's my motion based upon the recommendations of the personnel office. Do I have a second? Have a second, Master Robinson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson?
Yes.
Master Johnson?
Yes.
Master Murphy?
Yes.
Master Robinson? Master Dotson?
Yes.
Master Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes. Magistrate Murphy, you had one more item to take up.
Yes, Judge, our next meeting, we need to change the time from 5:30 to 10 on account of, that's the day some will be going to the transportation meeting down in Lexington.
Have a motion by Magistrate Murphy to have a second. Have a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson?
Yes.
Master Johnson?
Yes.
Master Murphy?
Yes.
Master Robinson? Master Dotson? Master Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes. On behalf of Pike County Government, Pike County Fiscal Court, we wish everyone in Pike County and to keep in mind the coal miners that's out of job and and the people of Needy. The Christmas party this year for the Needy is at Virgie Gym on the 22nd of December. I hope you all will volunteer. Hope a lot of you help Marlowe's Christmas for the Needy. And let's get ready to eat. And Bobby Mullins, if you will bless the food, we will eat.
God, our gracious Heavenly Father, we're thankful, Lord, for this time of year, this season when we can all come together and give you the praise, Lord, that you deserve. Father, we're thankful, Lord, for every county employee and every citizen of Pike County, Lord. Father, we just pray, Lord, for them throughout this season. Lord, remember all the little children. We want to pray for them throughout the world, and all the elderly and those that's without jobs or coal miners and everyone, Lord, that is not as fortunate this year as they usually have been. Father, we just pray that some way, somehow, that the windows of heaven could be opened up and that you could pour a blessing out upon them that they would hardly be able to receive. Father, we pray, Lord, that you'd bless this food, the hands that prepared it, and Father, that it'll give us strength and nourishments for our body. Father, we thank you. In Jesus' name we pray, and amen.
Have a motion to adjourn. Have a motion and have a second by Mr. Robinson. Have a roll call vote, please.
No, I looked at last year's.
Show my vote, yes.